Mr. President, I feel as though I have blood on my hands. Ha! Get a load of this, crybaby. We should drop 34 more nukes across Asia. Yeah, you're done. The duality of man, or more specifically, the duality of President Truman. Infamously, when Oppenheimer here met Truman, he responded by calling him a crybaby. But then only a few years later, when Douglas MacArthur here suggested nuking North Korea into oblivion. That was during the Korean War. Truman responded by just straight up firing MacArthur. I mean, I guess to be fair, they are kind of different things. I think Truman just thought he was more responsible than Oppenheimer for dropping the bomb, but then he knew MacArthur was literally a psycho for suggesting this. He believed Oppenheimer was a crybaby because he was just the one that invented the bomb, but he didn't pull the trigger. We've captured one of the new British Churchill tanks. We send it to R&D units so they can find out its flaws. British commandos steal the documents and use them to make the tanks better. What? British commandos steal the documents to use them to make the tanks better? Yeah, this was not a part of No Germany's plan during World War II. What a way to backfire that whole thing. Meanwhile, German troops in 1945, when they get to surrender to the US and not to the Soviets. This is such a funny song. Really says a lot when they're out here celebrating. Every US and USSR leader between 1945 and 1985. Meanwhile, Reagan and Gorbachev just chilling and actually kind of besties. It's weird how well they kind of got along in a strange way. To think he would dissolve the entire USSR just be put in a Pizza Hut commercial. I've slaughtered your entire army. I'm ready to negotiate your surrender, says Hannibal. Nuh-uh, of course, says Rome. I too am an enjoyer of oversimplified. I earlier this week just dropped my reaction to that. Check it out. Hamburgers keeping their name. Aw, how beautiful. Wait, yeah. Whatever happened to hot dogs? Frankfurters does sound kind of cute. As you may or may not know, hot dogs originally came from the German Frankfurters, but hot dogs got to keep their names. Oh, if this is why we renamed them, I have to admit that is a lot better. Okay, I'll allow it. I sure do love being the nation with the largest number of saltpeter deposits. Clueless. It seems Europe has started a great war. This will surely boost my economy. Note this is specifically one of the main components to gunpowder, and you'd think they would need a lot of that during World War I. What happened to my economy? Nothing personal, mine friend. All the sad decline of Chile. These two managed to synthesize this saltpeter. Pretty sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. This ruined the Chilean economy, even though they thought it was going to be like their economic golden times. Welcome to the Salty Splatoon. How tough are you? How tough am I? I defeated 14 warships in a single battle. Yeah? So? Using only cavalry. Right, this way, sir. This should really be a meme format we use more often. How the hell did France defeat 14 Dutch warships with horses? It helps to see that they were anchored to was literally frozen. I see now. Oh, look at this random bunch of flags gathered together. Hold on, wait a second. I love how no matter what diplomatic meeting you're having, just make sure you never put these three flag combinations together. Actually, for a while there, I did keep Germany, Italy, and Japan in the background together. I don't know if anyone noticed that. Sorry, but AI cannot attend art school. What are you doing? No. Who allowed AI to read up on the World War II Wikipedia page? This is actually kind of scary, though. Please, computers, don't. Vietnamese history versus Vietnamese history without Chinese. Chinese history versus Chinese history without Vietnamese. I mean, I don't know about that. They definitely have taken pretty different paths as of the last 150 years, that's for sure. Actually, further back than that. Lincoln was too harsh on secession. Earlier presidents would have allowed it. You sure about that? A state has the right to secede. John, if you secede from my nation, I will secede your head from the rest of your body. Andrew Jackson is a controversial president, but I think this was pretty based. Man had no chill. 8-year-old me thinking England was never invaded by anyone. How should we tell her? Says the Romans and Anglo-Saxons. And there's more than just that. I can understand why a lot of people would think this way, though. I was gonna say him too. How about this Viking hitchhiker? The 6-Day War was totally unpredictable. Nobody would have predicted the set of events with detail. The CIA analyst who predicted the outcome of the war with details terrifyingly close to the real one. And this was just days before it actually started. Did he even predict it was only gonna be 6 days? Well, he did talk about how a certain defense was gonna be broken in 2 to 3 days. Average fighter pilot. Only the best of the best can get to where I'm today. All the other pilots wish they were as good as me. Average bomber pilot. I may not be a fighter pilot, but bombers actually win wars. Versus average transport pilot. Want a stick of gum? Ja, says this little German girl. We're talking about Operation Little Vitals. Basically a goodwill mission to drop candy to German children during the Berlin airlift. Transport pilots might not get all the glory, but logistics do win wars. When I'm on a worst takes on army equipment competition and my opponent is General Kulik, he said, what the hell do we need rocket artillery for? Mines are a weapon of weak. Forbid the issue of submachine guns, stating that it was only suitable as a police weapon. He also also didn't want to produce a bunch of T-34 tanks, which were obviously instrumental to survival of the USSR. Sometimes you just get everything wrong. Captures all assassins sent by Stalin, said, stop sending people to oof me. We've already captured 5 of them. If you don't stop, I'll send one to Moscow and I won't have to send another. Stalin literally stops after that. This is all he had to say. Man, Tito, how crazy. Reject modernity, Australia Day, nah. How about embrace tradition, Rum Rebellion Day? That just sounds so much more fun. What does Australia Day even really mean? Where is the rum gone? The 46cm gun for Yamamoto is officially named 40cm. Okay. How our admirals can know it's 46 while keeping it secret? Why even tell them? That's not a bad idea. Just never let them know. Kind of seems like there would be some sort of logistical issue in there somewhere, but whatever. Explore the world. No monotony of daily life. No tyrannical kings or queens. Actually get a vote in things. Surprisingly good working conditions. And decent chance at retiring early. The life of a pirate. If you can just handle a little bit of that scurvy and possibly all your teeth falling out. I don't know. It's a mixed bag. It is probably more exciting than the life of a farmer. And then he assumed absolute power, promising the people it was only temporary. I love how we don't even specify a certain country or a certain time in history for this. It just happens so often and it always ended badly. Phantom of the Opera in 2004, as well as Interview with the Vampire in 1994. They don't know the Prussians have besieged Paris. Oh, wait a second. Did this happen at the same time during this plot of these movies? Both these films are set in 1870 and 1871, and Paris had the whole Franco-Prussian War happening. Kind of a little thing they missed. Gandhi came to London in 1888, and Jack the Ripper started oofing people in 1888. Gandhi returned to India in 1891, and Jack supposedly stopped oofing people in 1891. Jerry will be back soon with more disturbing facts. I can't help but mention this one every time I think of Jack the Ripper now. I know it's unlikely. But Abraham Lincoln versus State Auditor. I challenge you to a duel. Okay. Starts to chop tree branches. Actually, I'm too busy today. Maybe another time. That's like when you're about to fight someone and they start like do a couple backflips to just like warm himself up. Chill, bro, it's just a prank. Meanwhile, the prank. The experimenter who urges the participant to keep going, the fake test subject which pretends to feel pain, and the experimenter's subject administers shock. This feels strange. A little too far. I feel like I learned about this in psychology once. Wow, chimpanzees are so like us and so much nicer. There's nothing that can change my— Oh, golly. I, for one, love monkeys. I think they're very interesting creatures, but I don't want to ever get too close to one. Especially chimps. I'll stick to the finger monkeys instead. A US bomber is flying over us now. Let's shoot it down. We hit, but it's still flying. Look, we hit again and no explosion. We got hit 11 times by artillery shells. Nothing happened. Found a note inside one of the shells sticking out to the plane. Something German. Check tomfoolery. They're intentionally making bad shells for the no-no Germans. 61 Frenchmen and Hurons on their way to fight over 700 Iroquois. I wonder how well that's going to go. Did they know that they were going to be walking into this? I'm not entirely sure. They did all oof, but they might have won the battle. The Iroquois tribe gave up their attempted invasion. Americans to newly freed slaves. You will finally have Liberia as your new home. Oh, I thought that was going to say something else. The history of this African country, Liberia, is so crazy. They don't teach us about that. The only American colony in that continent. The answer to any question that starts with, why did Britain, is almost always to inconvenience France. And the beautiful thing is vice versa as well. Why did France help the US get their independence? To inconvenience Britain. They didn't care about us, really. The French Empire has had the largest cultural impact on the world. Meanwhile, the Roman Empire. Oh, but also, yeah. They're truly just the ones that don't want to see this. That rivalry still lives on. We have minefields left from the German occupation. How should we deal with them? Sappers? Mine flail tanks? Use and mistreat teenage German POWs? Employee of the month. Denmark was like, that's exactly what we'll do. There's actually a great movie about this. Becoming a shining example of European democracy and enlightenment. Wait a second. Russia, can you please let go of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth? That nation with their constitution on May 3rd, 1791. Made a whole bunch of changes, but obviously they wouldn't last. Medieval weapons in one sentence.
They weren't actually that useful.
Long swords, yeah. I've heard that.
Slip this between your ribs here.
That
Just a bit of subterfuge for you.
That pretty much still kind of works.
Close, just like your
Most
relationship.
Most OP.
Yeah, just a reminder, I am a weapon, not just something to hide behind.
True.
I've got a lot of edge to
Look
me.
at
if you get my
American,
drift.
1 century, I'm splitting
Look at,
skulls.
Captain
the next
America.
I'm doing thirst traps on TikTok.
Axe.
Makes you think. I
What?
may have no elegance,
Oh,
but,
that's
you know,
right.
you
I
don't
forgot
have
that
a
that
face,
dude
so
that
who
does
really
the
won?
axe stuff.
Listen, I'm a sophisticated
Warhammer?
weapon. Use me the right way and I'll slice the bitch open.
Claymore.
Ooh, did I
Pike.
catch ya? That
Oh,
was
is this?
painful? Whoa! As
It
long as I
seems
don't
so
hit myself,
obvious,
you're gonna be
too.
Sorry.
Look, it's pretty simple.
To just
You'll
get a
see
long
me,
stick.
Then you won't. Then I'll be inside your chest.
There you go.
And the unsavory love
Give me
tale
that
of a
weapon.
battle axe and a spear.
I don't want to get close to anything. Oh, is that what a morning star is? War declared by all. Austria declares war on Serbia, declares war on Germany, declares war on France, declares war on Turkey, declares war on Russia, declares war on Bulgaria. Then there's the Ottomans, almost declares war on itself. Oh, this is just a normal newspaper headline. Wonder what people must have been thinking. How World War II went. Oh, no. Come on. Yeah, come on. They had to have seen that coming. British with native tribes singing that Savages Disney song versus the Spaniards and also the Portuguese. The Iberian philosophy was just a lot more different. The first Christian daimyos in Japan. Mind selling me some rifles? I don't know. I don't sell to non-Christians. Well, my name is Dom and I'm a Christian. Oh, in that case, right this way. What a way to get around it. Well, I am one. Now sell me it. How everywhere else figured out their borders, pretty much all places throughout history, versus how Canada and the US figured out their border in 1846. American and pro-Confederation Canadian workers. Speaking with American and British officials, here's a compass and some string. Create a straight line across the entire continent at this parallel. Yes, sir. That's literally what we did. Fairly easy. You'd think it'd be that simple this whole time. Well, it helped that there weren't like a bunch of different historical, cultural, wasn't either one's land either way. Benedict Arnold's betrayal, according to most people. How could you do this? You were our friend. I know, which is why I'm going to join the British. Benedict Arnold's betrayal in actual history. You did all the work for us, but we won't let you take credit. Okay, then I'll just join the British. A little bit more understanding when you phrase it like that, I guess. I'm gonna be in trouble for saying that, aren't I? I got excited when I was doing my family tree and saw an ancestor was from Ireland in the late 1700s, then realized they were a British soldier in Northern Ireland. Family tree remains nearly 100% British. Reverse card. That's pretty funny. Big thanks to my patrons.
You'll find a link in the description down below to support me.
The beautiful Megan Underwood.
Drum your dad, back with the milk.
Look outside.
A fat
I
normal.
cannot sleep without
Jack
Drew's voice.
Traven's annoying
Amateur
friend.
archaeology.
Carmel
Fredrik
Saida.
Tibblin,
InquisitorXarius.
Joey,
JohnDenver.
KirinoIsBestGirl.
Sebby, if you hear
Robert
this,
E.
I love you.
Tambrin,
The Great
the
Ralphie.
Mexican 760. And ZaneyBoi.